Hi there, and welcome back to the third and final video related to BodiTrak2 Lite software. And in this particular video, we're going to just quickly go over some of the settings that are available and how you can configure the screen, and also information available that may help you understand pressure mapping better if you're just being introduced to it. So in the previous videos, we talked about the different capabilities and tools involved in the system here, as well as in the setup video as far as how to connect to the system. In this one, we're just going to restrict our conversation to information and the settings here. So if you click on the information icon here, you'll get a table like this, and these are some helpful tools for you. Again, quick start guide, just a helpful reminder how to connect to the system. Again, battery to the sensor before you try anything, so that you've got a valid Wi-Fi signal happening, and then you connect with a tablet to it, and off you go with the software. Background is a piece that was written some time ago about pressure mapping and using it in seating. And so that's a helpful background piece. References some information for the ISO standard, and then finally the user guide for the tool itself. So we won't go paging through those right now, but I encourage you to go through and investigate that and bone up on pressure mapping a little bit. And then we have our, of course, the standard gear, which is the settings. You can choose to register if you wish. We'll keep in touch with you a little bit better that way. Because this is an Android or it could be on an iPad, the software is available on the Google Store or Google Play or Apple Store. And updates will be pushed out. So when your device is on the internet, you should get them as they occur. So then we go here, open our settings. And a data port is our way of saying, hey, you're connecting, that's the communication port to the tablet from the sensor. So in this particular case, you got one setting, which is how fast do you want to scan the surface. Depending on the tablet you have or the smartphone that you're working with, you could go faster or slower. It really depends on the device a little bit, but normally we say 15 to 20 hertz is usually quick enough to capture a person's movement, and more or less real time. Your eye basically is 30 hertz, so anything above that you can't tell the difference. And this is really not meant to be a video recording system or a high-end research motion capture type system. So 15 hertz is usually acceptable. And then you have the measurement. You can choose whether you want it in metric or imperial. Right now the screen's showing metric, so we'll change it to imperial just for fun here. When we go out, and then in the pressure map, you can decide what the range is. So this is useful if we're talking about applications like back, or if you're going to use it in a bed environment. And what you can do is actually reduce the range. Let's say we reduce it down to 100. This is very critical to remember that you've done this, because, and hold this thought, we'll talk about it in just a minute, about why. And then you have the center of pressure, which is the little dot that moves in the middle that shows where the center of pressure is for the person on the surface of the seat. Dispersion index you can enable or disable, and then pressure numbers. If you want numbers, I'll put the numbers on just for, it does clutter the screen, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to see what's all happening there. And then statistics. I can either show the stats table that's ghosted here in the background, or I can disable it. I want it enabled at this point. Most people want to see some numbers. And then when we see save, it will reorganize the screen. So now it looks pretty hot right now. You can see the numbers on the screen, and you can see that the numbers are pretty low. It's just the way it's being displayed right now is I've taken the pressure display and dropped it by half. And I'm going to take the numbers off because that's just distracting there. But if you want to be able to do a bed or a seat, the pressure range is going to be down in the 30s and the 40s typically in that area. And if it's a back, it might be some higher points depending on the person's challenges, etc., on there. But so the challenge here is if you're going to change the pressure range displayed, you need to remember to go back and return it to 200 millimeters of mercury if you're doing seats. Otherwise, this gives you the false impression that you've got a really big issue here because of all the red. And you can see that we've changed the contact area to square inches now there. So if I go back in here again to settings, I can choose again the metric or imperial. I can choose the range. So I'm going to increase that back to 200 so we get a more appropriate range for pressure mapping of a seat. And then we'll leave these others set. Maybe I'll disable the dispersion index just to demonstrate. So if we say save, and then you see the black square is not on the screen anymore. So if you're sharing this with other users, be kind. If you go in and change some of the settings, make sure you switch it back to what it was before you leave. That's the extent of the settings available in the BodiTrak2 Lite system. Thank you again for choosing BodiTrak Lite, and we hope these videos have proved to be helpful for you.